Hey everybody. First of all, I'd like to start off thanking the fans. The fans were absolutely terrific, best in the NBA. I mean, I had a lot of people come through as guests to our games this year, and they were just blown off the charts at how electric this building was compared to other buildings. So I'd like to thank them from the bottom of my heart, and the organization's heart, and players and the rest of the staff for what they brought throughout the course of the year. I'd like to thank our staff and everybody else in the organization, Bettina and her group. They were all instrumental in the success that we had. And lastly, I'd like to thank the players. The players were terrific, obviously on and off the floor, but I'd like to thank them because they allowed me to coach them, and they allowed me to coach them how I saw fit. So a lot of thanks going out right now, but very much well deserved. You know, although this loss still stings, you know, it would probably sting for most of the summer until we get back at it. It was probably a necessary step in our growth. Sometimes you got to go through the pain of some adversity to figure out or to realize how important and how hard things are going to be for you to attain that next level. But this year was invaluable for us because it helped us establish or it allowed us to establish who we are and how we're going to play. And everybody knows it. Everybody in the organization, everybody in the city, all the players, and then everybody else around the league. And so establishing that was fantastic while reestablishing a connection with our community, which is huge. I do think we accomplished a lot in terms of forming our identity, which is expected, in my opinion, if you want to have a chance to be great. And this summer is going to be huge for us. You know, I am proud of everybody. I am proud of what we accomplished in year one. But we got a lot of work to do. It's only going to get harder from here. And that's the one thing you hope that everybody realizes, that it's not going to be easy going forward. We're not sneaking up on anybody. People are going to come at us giving their best shot. They know exactly how we want to play, and they're going to game plan against it. And I always said to our group, to go from here to here is relatively easy if you have a few things that go in your favor. To go from here to here, even though the distance is a lot shorter, it's a lot harder. But I feel we have the group to embrace that challenge and go get it done.
Mike, you talked about the pain of the offseason and just your experience, and as long as you keep doing this, is a series like this where you drop a game 7, how much do you reanalyze Monday morning quarterback, even yourself, and things you could have done differently as opposed to just moving on? You know, it's so much in the regular season, you just move on to the next game, but there is no next game for you guys until later. So you talk about carrying the sting in there for you as a coach. Do you linger on that series at all?
Yeah, but and yet I hate to do it, you know. But I think it's necessary, not just for me, but for all of us, because it's going to continue to challenge me to be better, especially if in that situation with this group again. So it's tough, but going through it, if we handle it the right way, we'll pay dividends come next season.
Mike, one of the themes of yesterday was just how much everyone wants to be back. How excited are you about the culture that you've been able to establish so early, where every player, it seemed like, is excited about what's next for them and excited to come back and be part of this going forward.
No, that's what you want as a city and as an organization. You know, when you have people wanting to play here, that's extremely exciting. Not just for the fans, not just for our organization, but you know, for even the players that are already here. Because usually, we all know it, there are places around the league that nobody wants to go to, or that they're hesitant to go to, and you definitely don't want to be on that list. So to have our guys, all of our guys, excited about being here is one of the things that we could only hope and pray for as an organization, because this is a players' league. It's about them, and if they're happy, you have a chance.
Coach Brown, I have to editorialize this, but it's been an extraordinary season. Like, you know, the being playoff tickets going through the roof, making the playoffs, a couple All-Stars, you Coach of the Year. Of course, there might be some other honors coming up, though. But just 12 months later, just want to get your thoughts of the soul of the organization, which you came in and you expressed yourself about having that last June, I believe. So what's your thoughts about the soul of the organization at this point in May 2nd, 2023?
Our soul is definitely in the right spot. You know, I think collectively, from Vivek to Martina to Monty to Foxy to Donuts to HB on down the line, we all have tried hard to make and lay the foundation the right way so that we can feel the soul beating at the right pace. And I'm excited about the energy that's there. I'm excited about the positivity that's there. And I couldn't have asked for a better feeling for this group, and especially with the connectivity of everybody at this point in our journey. Couldn't ask for a better feeling for this group at this point in time going forward. So I'm excited about what the future can bring.
Hey, Mike, when you look at your staff, are you hoping to keep everybody together, or are you looking to replace some people not on your staff? And as well, heading into the offseason, is there areas within your roster that you think might need upgrading, or areas that you'd like to see improvement on?
But you know, I hope all of you guys can appreciate this. But you know, we just finished our season 2 days ago, and those are a lot of questions in terms of the roster that have to be, you know, thought out thoroughly. And you know, Monty obviously will lead us with that, but I think we all have to take a step away from it first before trying to make any decisions in the direction that we want to go. I absolutely love all of our guys. They all contributed to our season in a lot of different ways that, you know, a lot of you guys and the fans didn't really have a chance to see, because, you know, even in things like the low minute games, you know, there has to be a connectivity, there has to be guys playing the right way in order for guys to stay ready when their number hasn't been called for 5 or 6 games, and then all of a sudden we throw them out there and they have some success. And a lot of that is due to a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that's getting ready. So from top to bottom, selfishly, you'd love to have everybody back, but that's not the reality of our business. In terms of our coaching staff, I'd love to have everybody back, but again, that's not the reality of our business. You know, guys are going to get opportunities to be head coaches. They may get opportunities to move from behind the bench to the front of the bench, and although you know, you want to keep everybody, you don't want to hold anybody back from bettering themselves financially and their situation for their family. So we'll see what happens with the staff.
Mike, Domas said yesterday one thing that he took away from the series is that he didn't shoot confidently enough. And obviously they were sagging off of him, drop coverage and all those things. But in terms of the way you evaluate his series, how do you do that? And what's the messaging for him to, you know, remain sort of the confident, aggressive player he was in the regular season and the playoffs going forward?
You know, that's what the playoffs do. People are gonna try to figure out where they think your weaknesses are. I think Domas is a great shooter, you know, and I've always told him, if you're open, let it fly, you know, and, you know, just like everybody else, he probably needs to go through a series like that to really step back and say, man, I wish I would have let it fly more than I did, or I wish I would have tried to have a different approach when it came to shooting an open shot. But I you know, most of the answer to this question, you know, would obviously have to come from him, but I do think he's a great shooter. It's great that he wants to continue working on it. It's great that he's critiquing himself, because we all have to in order to be able to come back better than we were this year, next year.
Mike, yesterday Harrison Barnes said that the stated goal before the start of the season was to make a playoff run, not just make the playoffs. So given that, and also though, given where this franchise is today versus where it was at this point last year and all that, not to go all Giannis on you, but was this season a success in your mind?
I mean, you're proud of the guys and the way that they competed, but we're just like everybody else, in my opinion. I mean, I came here saying that we want to compete for a championship like everybody else, and I know that, you know, a lot of people laughed at me, which was cool, but that's my feeling. You know, you just like everybody else, you're in it to win the whole thing. It sucks to lose your last game, and only one team gets a happy feeling going into the summertime. I've experienced that happy feeling on 4 different occasions, and it sucks if you don't get to that point. So from the standpoint of us not attaining that, yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed we lost, but that doesn't diminish what we accomplished as a group and the steps that we've taken as a group. You know, because sometimes you have to take certain steps in order to grow and to get there. And I can't sit here and say that if we lose in the first round, the second round, the third round, or even if we lose in the finals, that I wouldn't be disappointed. You know, yeah, because I want more, and I hope that everybody involved wants more. But again, like I said, that doesn't diminish the fact that you can't be proud of your accomplishments, and you can't be looking forward to what you could possibly do the next time you get an opportunity together.
Mike, first of all, just congratulations on the success and what you guys did accomplish. We've watched a lot of people try to do what you did, and to see you guys do it was pretty remarkable to see. Going back to that first question from Sean about kind of analyzing, you know, things over the course of the season, the course of this series, I'm just curious what, like, some of your initial thoughts are when you kind of look back and maybe second guess certain things. Like, do you have any, what's top of mind for you going into the summer and the off season?
Well, you know, right, going into the off season, I mean, right now, I'm taking a step back just to, you know, I don't want to try to, I guess, put too many things out there of what I think the direction is we need to go as a team. You know, I think we just need to continue to reflect back on what the series was about, what the year was about, and how we can all be better, so that next year we take a huge step, because it's going to be harder next year. In regards to the series, probably the biggest thing that will haunt me all summer is their ability to offensive rebound. You know, that was a controllable that had a huge impact on the series that we didn't control. Steph is elite. You can withstand a guy getting 40 or 50 or something like that, as long as 2 or 3 other guys don't go off, you know, and he's gonna have his day, or he's gonna have his days. I've been with him, and I've seen him score against some of the greatest defenses, some of the greatest individual defenders, and in some of the toughest environments or situations. But to do what we did in terms of allowing those guys to have big offensive rebounding games is something that is a controllable by us that will probably continue to bother me throughout the course of the summer.
What would you have done differently to?
I don't know, I got a couple of things in mind next year that you guys will see.
Mike, you've, back here, way back here, you talk a lot about, you know, the offseason decisions, direction that this team is going in, but I'm just curious for you personally, is there anything that you do to decompress, to take your mind off of basketball, anything fun that you have planned for yourself over the next couple of months or whatnot, just to get away from it all for a little bit?
Well, if you hear the rumblings of a Harley Davidson that's tan and black, and then you hear little Kane Brown coming out of the speakers, it's probably me. So I'll be on my bike quite a bit. Beautiful area to ride. Bro and I will be riding up through Tahoe quite a bit, and for me, that as much as hanging with my grandson, and then going to a beach or two throughout the course of the summer will be my way of decompressing.
Mike, I know you mentioned the offensive rebounding and Steph could get his on any night, but you did go with Terrence Davis on him in Game 7. I'm just curious how you view how that went for you, given that Steph did score 50, and just curious about the decision not to play Davion on him more, like you did earlier in the series.
We also played TD Game 6.
Yeah.
TD played, so he played. That was our best game of the series. Was Game 6, and TD guarded Steph. We felt it gave Foxy and Malik a lot of room, because TD obviously was a high-level shooter for us, and he can catch fire at any time. And so going with him in Game 6 was something that I decided to do, and it worked out well. And so going into Game 7, I was going to stay the course and give that another opportunity. And like I said, I felt like it would have been great if we could have controlled the glass in Game 7, and also if we wouldn't have shot 59% from the free throw line. I mean, it's tough to miss double-digit free throws in a deciding Game 7 against the NBA champs. And so in I know a lot of people have their own opinion, but in my opinion, those two areas that are controllables, we didn't control, and that cost us the game more than anything else. Because if you look at the box score, Steph was the only one that scored, and you can survive one guy getting his. There's plenty of box scores in playoffs. That one guy got his because they're elite players. But those other areas you've got to clean up.
Mike, like when you look at, you've been through builds before, and like this isn't a rebuild, this is a build, right? Where you start something and all of a sudden you're looking forward to next season to see how you can add, how you can improve. Just how big was this season for like the jumping off point for you as a coach to try to establish something and build something for the future?
It was big because we do feel like we established who we are, not just in our own minds, but in others too. Because and then how we're going to play. So we established an identity, in 95% of the times, teams that have an opportunity to be great, they know who they are. They know how they're going to play, and we as a staff feel that, the organization feels it, the community feels it, but more importantly, our players feel it. And any other players out there that are watching, whether they're in college now, guys overseas, guys on other teams, you know, when they look at the Sacramento Kings, they feel that this is a fun brand of basketball to play, and it's the right way to play. And when you start having that, and it's truly something that you believe in and others believe in, everybody gravitates towards it. And when that happens, the sky's the limit.
Just following up on that question about decompression for yourself. I mean, when you took the job, it was hit the ground running right after a championship and building a staff, draft to prepare for. When you look at just kind of the off season ahead, do you allow yourself some time to really take a step back, or do you anticipate yourself being just as thoroughly involved as you were, and maybe even more so?
You know, Monty and Wes, they've been great. I think the partnership we have is really good. You know, that we want their input. We want their feedback. They're welcome to our meetings at any time. If we're halfway in a meeting, they can walk in, sit down, voice their opinion, whatever they want to do. And I feel like they've given me the green light to do that too. I won't be coming in every day, just like they didn't come in to our meetings every day. But you know, I'll be around, I'll be listening, I'll give my 2 cents or my opinion, and at the end of the day, it's going to be their decision to make when it comes to the personnel move. So I'm looking forward to the off season. Looking forward to watching our young guys play summer league and some of our young coaches. I think Luke Laux is probably going to coach our summer league team, and was I supposed to say that, Shannon?
It's up to you.
Okay. But you know, it should be a lot of fun for him and a great experience. And so I'm looking forward to all of that stuff. I think I'm gonna do a basketball without borders too, in South Africa, and so I am looking forward to the summer.
Mike, is there a specific moment from this season that you look back on and smile about and reflect on and enjoy? And is there a moment as well that you sit there and say, okay, this can work. What we're doing, what we're building, this can work?
Well, I think just over the test of time, it has shown to me that this can work. I don't know if there's one specific moment. I know when we got our first win on the road in LA, I can't even remember when that was, but that was, to me, a big confidence booster, and that was, okay, I felt it can work, but in terms of really helping with the belief of everybody, that was huge. When you get road wins like that against, you know, special franchises with Hall of Fame players on their roster, it gives you the confidence that you need sometimes to get over the hump, and that was one of the big wins for us. But there are a lot of things throughout the course of the year that, you know, you look back on and that you kind of smile at. You know, I mean, we were all so excited when I got booted in Toronto, and you know, everything was just chaotic, and Jordy took over and we win the game, and I think we were short. I think TV was starting that game because Kevin was out. You know, I'm in the back cursing at the TV, and we get a win, and I was so happy for the guys and for Jordy. You know, there are a lot of moments like that throughout the course of the year when you look back on or you reflect on that you kind of smile at. So fun year for everybody, not just the players, but for us too as a staff, and you know, you hope to be even better next season.
Frankie, Tony, and then Jason.
Yeah, Coach Keegan, just kind of the progression of him from the first 3 games to the Final Four. I mean, Final Four, he looked so much more confident, making shots big in Game 7. Just, was that a matter of the coaching staff sitting aside and saying, hey, here are the adjustments you need to make, or was that him doing it on his own in the flow of the game?
At the end of the day, you know, it's a players' league, and he's that talented. Sometimes you need to just be able to go through some things to figure out, okay, I can do this, and I can still do this at a high level, because when you haven't gone through some that magnitude, there's a lot of pressure that's internal that you have to deal with. And while dealing with it, you know, you also want to act like you've been there so that people around you don't doubt. So he was dealing with a lot of stuff, in my opinion, for being a first-year player in the playoffs, especially starting for a team. And it was just a matter of him getting comfortable, and he did it. He showed that he's more than capable, and I'm excited. I'm thrilled to see him come back next year because he's got a chance to really take off.
Coach Brown, Trey Lyles said some significant things yesterday about, you know, playing within your system, and he did some things that he normally probably would have did for any other coach because, you know, he had that trust in you, he had that faith in you. When you hear things like that, you know, coming from a player, of course, you know, it's uncertainty of whether he'll be back or not. Hope he does.
Me too.
Cool. When you hear things like that from players, what's your response to that? Does it make you feel, you know, like, yes, I'm doing my job, or just want to get your response?
Yeah, Tom, for sure. You know, this is a players' league. It's about the players, and you want your players, or you hope that your players have trust and belief in you, because you know if they do, then they're going to go out and they're going to take it to another level in their performance. On top of that, I don't care what business you're in, as a leader, it's my job to define reality while giving hope. Having said that, I want to make sure that everybody that I'm leading, whether it's coaches, players, whoever, they feel like they have ownership in the process. And if a guy has ownership in the process because I believe in him, as you know, when anybody feels that, they're going to want success because they have a vested part, or they have equity in whatever you're doing out there because of the ownership that you're giving them. So you love to hear stuff like that. You know, that's what makes me want to continue to try to be as good as I can, just to make sure everybody feels that way, because when you have that from your entire group, the sky's the limit with what can happen for us as a whole.
Mike, two, if I could. One, there were a lot of memorable quotes this year. Turn on the effing Jets was one of them. We don't give an F who's over there, from Fox. I don't know if you heard that in the post game in LA. Did anything come to mind as quote of the year for you?
No, maybe I probably one of Keegan's quotes because they were so short. Keegan, you can play better than that. Okay.
And with De'Aaron, like he was just renewed this year after 5 tough seasons, and he talked yesterday about kind of all these great things that kind of came together and happened in his life over a span of a few months. And I just wonder what it was like for you to be a part of that, and to see his growth, and what impresses you most about kind of who he is and who he's becoming.
First thing is he's a great human being, and when you're around great people like that, you want nothing but the best for them, and you feel like they, as crazy as it sounds, you feel like they deserve it, because they're that good of people, and so for me with Foxy, I feel like he definitely has earned it and deserved everything that he has coming his way. He's fortunate, blessed, lucky, however you want to call it, to have Rasay say yes to him, asking her to marry him. She's a beautiful, beautiful human being herself. They just make a fantastic couple. And then, the addition of Baby Rain. I mean, it's like a storybook beginning for them as a young family, and he has